Not going live yet. Okay, Carl, it's all yours.
Hi, Carl Nordine here with Shaken and Awaken. I have had 9 car accidents. I've totaled the cars. I've had an NDE in 1992, and I am here with the one and only Dr. Leong Ying. Thank you, sir, for joining me. It's an honor.
It's my honor, sir, to be part of this launch of your inaugural Shaken and Waken. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Okay, so my first question to you, sir, is how did you find God?
Well, before I dive into that, actually, Carl, since this is your first launch of your podcast, I know I've known a little bit of your background, and it's whetted my appetite. So if you don't mind, I'd like to hear a little bit more about yourself. It excites me, and I think the audience would love to hear a bit more about yourself, your experience, your near-death experience, your astral plane visit to the other side, you want to call it that, and how that has molded you. I think to me, that is very, very interesting. And that will let the audience know exactly what this podcast that you put together is and how that is then linked to me. So I think we maybe start with the big star, which is yourself. So,
Oh,
Carl, why
thank
don't you
you.
give a little bit more background on yourself, sir? Thank you.
Okay, well, it was July 15th, 1992. I had a terrible car accident. I was thrown out of the car. The car came on top of me. The axle was across the back of my neck, and the catalytic converter was my arm. Right. So I was face down like this with the weight of the car on top of me. Now, I was in a coma for 17 days. When I arrived at the hospital, the doctors told my mom and told my family that I had a 7% chance of surviving. Now that's pretty grim outlook for anyone. And my mom was a prayer warrior, and she opened up the lines of prayer for everybody that would pray for me. And here I am today. I actually I on the third night, as I remember, I died. My quit breathing, my heart stopped for 3.5 minutes. Now, I'm not a neurosurgeon by any means at all, but I know that is supposed to be severe brain damage. I shouldn't even be having this conversation with you today. But as I entered into that, there was a long black tunnel, if you would call it, with a light at the end of it. And I get that. That's what everybody says, but that's exactly the way it was. And as I walked closer to this light, I was met by a being that I wasn't sure who it was, but I knew the love was. I just felt totally at peace. And as I walked further and further and on, I could hear a voice telling me, it wasn't my time yet. When I went back, this is what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to bring in the old school religion and new age. They call it new age spirituality, but actually what it is, it's going back to the basics, right? Back to like the Essenes or let me think, the Essenes or the Good Samaritans, if you would. And it was just that we are one body. We are all a separate piece of the same body. And we're here to love each other and worship our creator. And that's it. We don't judge anybody. We don't have a prejudgment of anybody. We're just here to love them and lift them up and make them shine.
That is a beautiful, beautiful message. And that's why I feel that we needed to start with that because there's, as you know now, right now, the world's in a lot of pain. People are losing loved ones, and there's a lot of despair. And sometimes minds just saying, "Oh, well, I'm mathematically proven God," is not enough. They need that. They need a word from someone like you that has seen what's on the other side. Whether that's true or not. You're not the only one, like I said, has gone through a near-death experience. Like you said, almost
Exactly.
every one of them has said the same. message that, at least for the good ones, I don't know about for the evil ones. Typically, I think they get dragged to hell and they never get a return, so they're never talking about. But for the good ones, and some of the good ones, like yourself, is right. You even your loved ones say, it's not really your time yet. You need to go back there and you need to tell the world that there is hope at the end of the proverbial tunnel,
Right.
and that there is love beyond this world. And that's what I said. I think it's very important and it's a powerful message, and one that, like I said to you, we're closely related. Well, not in the sense that I've never had a near death experience. I broke my collarbone on a high-speed bike ride, but not quite the same level extent that you went through. And hopefully, I won't need to go through that
Oh
experience.
no.
But I found my God. To your first question that I asked about God, I found my God, like I said, through my own strange way, which was obviously through science. But before I answer that first question that you threw at me, I just want to give. I mean, most of the audience, especially those that are collecting, knows already about myself, but. I am a nuclear physicist, so very logical, very analytical, and I was not a God believer. I thought science would give the answer to everything. Well, in that respect, science delivered God to me. So you could argue science did eventually deliver the ultimate truth to me, but my arrogance was transformed. I got the first path to God. Well, when I was very young, I had these mental ability to be very prophetic but I thought everyone had that. But I'm not going to go through my entire life story. Just say I went into science, and through science, I was in the dark side, like Moses, 40 years in the wilderness. You could argue, at least in my wilderness, I study hard and learn my science very well. And that learning led me ultimately, I said, to the discovery of my God through science. And so I published my God book in 2018 after a major event in Istanbul, where I was a speaker at the Call to World Peace event, which is definitely very relevant in this time of conflict and war in our time. So the God book, which I published, which is available on Amazon for those that wants to purchase the book, just type God and my name, Leong Ying, on Amazon, and it'll pop up. That contains new mathematics that logically defines God and new science that experimentally proves God. And you think you can challenge me on that? Buy my book, and you'll see why I'm so arrogant and why I'm so arrogant stating that I win the Nobel Prize in physics for those discovered. Not because it discovered God. Beyond that, it also answers all the unknown science like dark energy, dark matter, missing antimatter, quantum entanglement, all that, all those juicy scientific things are also covered in that God book. So hopefully I answered that first question for you, Carl. Any more questions you have?
Yes, sir. Well, I would have a whole plethora of questions, but it's just a man coming from, as you said, no belief at all, to believing, a believer. Now, how did that shape your faith then?
Well, the thing is that is my new religion, which I created, one God, one religion. Why I say that is logically, if there is only one God, then by logic there should only be one religion, right? It's like
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So no, I'm not here to say that my one religion is going to overcome. No, no, faith is also important. So to your question, it didn't shape my faith. It shaped my fact on God. So it's
Okay.
facts that deliver me to God. But I do believe faith is very, very important. Just like I'm a very logical person, and in some people will tell you I'm very cold and unloving, and that is probably true. I'm like Spock, on Star Trek. He's very logical, like very unemotional. So in that respect, but I believe that that's also very unhealthy as well. Having AI robots be unemotional, eventually they'll probably destroy us, the creator. So we need to put the love. So love and logic are both important, just like faith and fact is also very important. So my new scientific God, my new fact-based religion is not here to uh, uh, overcome, suppress, get rid of the love or the faith-based religion. No, we're here to complement each other. We're like
Right.
the yin yang, just like my twin universe is my approach to my God. The twin universe is duality, light,
Right.
dark,
Exactly.
north, south, love, logic.
Right.
So it's to complement each other. So that's something which I believe will help the rest of the faith-based religion in the sense that I bring the facts to support their claim that there is an almighty God. So I think that is, and the message also was beautifully created by my beautiful and most talented wife, Andrea Wen, the filmmaker. She produced the film, The Man Who Met God. You know, I obviously starred in it, but she produced it. And due to her creativity, she won many global recognition and many, I think 12, I lost count, I think it's 13 or 14 international awards for her film, The Man Who Met God, which one of our representatives is now pushing it for the Middle East for distribution. We will plan to get it live stream on a major streaming platform later next month. So for the whole world, watch this amazing film that's due to come out. Okay. So thank you.
Yes, sir. That's amazing that you have that kind of support behind you. It is. And you're right. It comes down to love, right? One love is all it's about. And what I guess when I came, where I come from, it was like, I always questioned, even before my accident, I questioned God. I mean, how could this be? How could a loving God want this? And how could this stuff happen to us? And it all came full circle when I had my accident, right? And it wasn't the first one. That was number one, two, three, four. I had four, and then I had five more accidents after that, even. But the whole thing is, all nine of them, I should have lost my life and didn't. And so I knew I was here for a purpose. People used to say, "Oh, Carl, you have nine lives. You're like a cat." I'm like, "Oh no, I don't think so. I'm divinely protected, maybe for sure." But my thing is, I never. It took me 30 years to remember exactly what happened, and that was after deep hypnosis. And right now, I'm studying to be a hypnotherapist to help other people out. So it's an amazing journey I'm on. It's an honor to have you on my podcast as my first guest. It's amazing. Thank you for that. And I'm just right now in the very beginning of my journey, and my journey is half over. You know what I mean? I'm 50 years old. Why did it take so long for me to wake up?
Well, you're just a youngster, Carl. I didn't marry until I was 60 to my beautiful wife. So I didn't find love till 60. So you're still young, yeah. So you got no 10 more years before you mature and become, back into the thing. So you're just a young whippersnapper thing. Like I said to you, joking aside, though, no, the finding God, there's no time, no age, no part of the journey. When we reach that point, we'll know it and how long we have to deliver that beautiful message, just like your message that you've seen for yourself, the message that there's a loved one. Well, for those good ones, I don't those pardon my English. I hope there's no kids watching, but for those shit evil assholes, no, you're not going to go to heaven. You're not going to be returned. There's no loved one waiting at the end of the tunnel say, well done, you've been a shitbag all your life, murdering, raping, and thing. No, if you're listening, yes, the evil shit, those people out there, yeah, you got your comeuppance. So just bear that in mind. Only good people like Carl, hopefully myself, like I said to you, I'm not being an angel all my life, but hopefully what I do from here on is enough for God to see pity in me and realize that, well, maybe you've done enough to deserve your time in heaven as well, and to be united with the loved one, which is obviously my ultimate loved one, my mother in heaven. So
Oh,
anyway.
mine too. I have my dad passed away when I was like 4 years, 8 months old, in a horrific truck accident right in front of me. And then my mom passed in 2012 from ovarian cancer. So I've had a lot of death in my family from a very young age. And I had two brothers die, a sister die, a number of loved ones die, and I can only hope and pray that they knew what I know, what you know, that they know that the grace of God they have up until this is what's really bad is they have up until their last breath to say, "Oh God, save me." And
Yeah.
those people are going to live a horrible life here on earth. They're not going to have
Yeah.
peace. They're not going to have love.
Yeah.
It's going to be fake if it is, if anything at all.
Yeah. No, that is so I think we want to end this short podcast on that powerful message of hope that love is the ultimate thing that will save all of humanity.
Right.
Okay, not wars, you know, not murder, not evil shit. So for those out there looking for a righteous path, I think someone of Carl who's seen it both here on earth and in heaven with the loved one. Like I said to you, follow on that righteous, good path. Yeah, now and then we all stumble. I stumble. Like I said to you, we're not perfect. We're all human. But as long as your intent is good, and as long as most of your deeds are good deeds, and you live a good, decent life, then yeah, there is hope. Then there is love on the other side as well, waiting. Pure love, not
Sure.
the love that is corrupted here on earth by lust, by greed. We're all tempted, but pure love. So, and for those that have recently lost a loved one, just know that those good ones are on the other side waiting for us to reunite with them in the love. So Carl's already tell you, right? There is a tunnel at the end
Absolutely.
of this light, and there is a loved one waiting for all of us, the good
All of
ones, I'm saying, okay? Not the evil shit. If you're an evil shit, then like I said to you, you've got nothing.
change
You're
your
going to be
way.
flushed down the toilet. You're going to flush down the toilet, and the devil's waiting for you there. And take my word for it, he's not a very nice entity. But you have time to repent, right? There's always hope.
Absolutely.
There's time to repent. There's time uh, to see the wrongs of your wrongdoing, and there's time for each of us. That is what hope is all about. So, Carl, I want to thank you for picking me as your first guest
Oh,
on
thank
this
you, Doctor.
amazing podcast that you're doing. Continue delivering your message. It is desperately needed in this dark times of us that we're in. Okay, you are the silver lining to this dark cloud, and together with me and other good folks, hopefully, our light will outshine the darkness and lead the rest of humanity up towards the heaven. Okay, so Carl, last words to you since this is your podcast.
Absolutely. Well, the Unblinded group has been huge for me as well. So I want to give them a shout out with Sean Callaghan and those guys. But one question before we leave, how is this? How
Oh,
did
okay, yeah, a lot of people ask me that. Okay, so that is my respectful symbol to God. Uh, Now, in a lot of historical path, we go to like a lot of history, a lot of the ancients, they're buried with the armed cross, so it's
right,
the sacred cross. So you
right.
see that like the Egyptian pharaohs, they have the cross, and then they have the sacred symbols holding their arm. So it's a quite a sacred symbol related to deity, divinity. So I don't claim to be first on that. Like I said, obviously it's the cross, which for Christianity, the cross is a very sacred
Absolutely.
symbolism as well. So it's my respectful tribute to God. But the reason for my two fingers is the four. Four is the code of life. Okay, so all living organism, including God, even in my God book, if you buy, I even describe the gene, the chromosomal gene of God, the cosmos itself. Okay, my new mathematics has developed that the natural number is actually subdivided into four distinct groups. And the four distinct group also describe the four codes. So for life form, all life form are coded by DNA. I think the CGA and CGT and C. I forgot what the four codes are. But anyway, the four code, obviously viruses have RNA as well, but the DNA, but all life are coded by these four code. So four is a sacred well, it's more than a sacred. To me, it's the mathematical foundation of our existence
Life,
and
right.
the code of actual life itself. And we believe that God created man in his own form. Again, that's described in the God book as well. So that symbolism is my respect to God and my tribute to life itself, the four code of life itself, and the
Now,
mathematical code that is the foundation of all of our reality. So that is the reason for this is known as the KLYSTAR sign. So thank you again, Carl. So on that beautiful note, much love, peace to the world, and the KLYSTAR sign to you all.